I know I've said it before, but in the blink of an eye, here we are following what turned out to be a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend. What has now turned out to be a week very similar to last. We're talking about several inches of rainfall from start to finish. Start being later on this evening and finishing being, well, there really is no end in sight. The forecast has chances of showers and storms throughout every day between now and this time next week. I have one or two brief mentions of partly sunny skies, but that's about it. We're talking right now about some heavy rainfall that will possibly and more than likely begin as soon as tonight. A lot of low pressure and a lot of other factors all combining to give us just exactly what we've had plenty of thus far this spring and even before, and more of what we don't need. We'll talk more about that certainly in your forecast in just a few moments, but definitely a few inches of heavy rain. 1 to 3 inches is a good estimate, and right now it shows the viewing area on the upper end of that scale. Flash flooding, as we have been seeing as of late, could be an issue. The rains will probably start to wane by Tuesday afternoon. Temperatures are going to go in the same direction as far as it being down. And then some scattered showers, and then a few more rounds of showers and thunderstorms will continue throughout your work week and, yes, your weekend. Very little sunshine. I hope you got to soak up some of it. I've seen a few sunglass tans like my own today and a few others out there, so keep that in mind. It's been a good thing, and now it's short-lived and all but gone. On tonight's program, we'll start talking about the Battle of Ivy Point. I got a whole lot of footage to talk about there, so we'll just kind of put our toes in that this evening. I do have some information about the appeal, the public hearing set for tomorrow in Frankfort. I'll fill you in on all of that in just a few moments as it relates to the Montgomery County Judge Executive's race and following a civil suit. Now the appeals case going before the Kentucky Court of Appeals. An important reminder about a meeting that will also be a story, and a few other stories that I'll let you know about in just a few moments. And I have that same allergy-related cough I believe that a whole lot of other folks are experiencing. Well, while we're now officially and firmly into the month of April, the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety has just now officially released the final revision, the final statistics for 2014 automotive fatalities in the state of Kentucky. Highway fatalities in Kentucky actually went up in 2014 after a record low the year before. There were 672 deaths on Kentucky's roads last year. That was an increase of 34 from 2013. However, if you can try to paint some good news in this picture, it is the fact that it's the second lowest total since 573 deaths on Kentucky's roads were documented back in 1949. The Kentucky Office of Highway Safety says that 2 highway safety bills that have recently, of course, passed our legislature and have been signed into law and which will soon take effect are even going to go further than other steps and provisions have gone to see that death totals have gone the direction that they are working toward, and that, of course, is down. And one of those, of course, is Senate Bill 133, which I reported to you on, that the DUI offender bill, which DUI offenders will be required to blow into an ignition lock device in their vehicle, and that vehicle, of course, not starting if the vehicle's or the person's obviously blood alcohol content is more than 0.02, which is well below the legal limit of 0.08 here in Kentucky. First-time DUI offenders will not have to have that, of course, as we reported when the bill first passed, unless they were arrested with aggravated circumstances. And then, of course, the other bill was House Bill 315, the child safety seat booster law, which we saw enhanced and then went from 40 to 50 inches of height, from 40 to 57 inches in height for our children, who will now have to be at least older than 8 to not have to be put into a booster seat. So all of those should have a dramatic effect. They are hoping on fatalities this time next year. While we're on the topic of transportation, let me go ahead and have our first reminder about the public meeting, which is set for tomorrow night. I want to make sure we get the times out there for anyone and everyone who either travels Route 114, the Mountain Parkway, if you will, expansion from Sagersville to Prestonsburg, or certainly who owns land or lives along that stretch of roadway. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet has proposed what could be perceived as a dramatic alternative to just widening 114, this part of the Mountain Parkway expansion project between Sagersville and Prestonsburg. This last portion of it, which will basically connect all the way through to Pikeville and beyond, will be part of the entire link. Several miles of road work that will go to better serve, the Transportation Cabinet says, all motorists traveling through and increase safety thereof as well. There's a meeting tomorrow night that has been set where the Transportation Cabinet will be presenting two plans, two proposals that they are seeking public input on. The meeting is going to be held at Prestonsburg Elementary. It sits on the right, the new school on the right between here and Prestonsburg, and the meeting is slated for 5 to 7:30 tomorrow evening. They'll have maps, documentation, and everything available for all residents, landowners, or any interested parties to see the proposals they have thus far, and also, they say, allowing anyone to express their opinion on either or any other alternatives. It will be, once again, at Prestonsburg Elementary, 5 to 7:30 tomorrow night. Those two proposals include widening of the existing trek of 114 as we've come to know it for years and years, or what they are calling a cross-country alignment, which would basically, and with the exception of just a very short distance on each end, take a totally different route through the hills and woods, as they say, and make a different trek of the Mountain Parkway. There's obviously a difference in cost estimates and, of course, not as many homeowners, and landowners, a whole lot of factors going in with this decision. And right now they are asking for the public's input. The meeting's tomorrow night, 5 to 7:30. If you can't make it there, we'll have a report here on Your News Today on the following evening. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. We'll scratch the surface, so to speak, right now, with much more to come as it relates to the Battle of Ivy Point, the Battle of Sagersville, as it's also informally called. If I am correct, the 7th Civil War reenactment held in Magoffin County, since our Civil War Reenactment Committee was formed and got so much momentum behind them to see that we continue to honor and mark the history, our Civil War history in Magoffin County. On an absolute perfect and picturesque setting, including the Gardner Farm, the very site of the Battle of Ivy Point, on a beautiful spring day, unlike those before and those after, the Battle of Ivy Point, what I believe the 7th, at least, reenactment held here locally by our Civil War Reenactment Committee. This a remembrance of Civil War activities that took place throughout the war on this historic farm and location. The Battle of Sagersville, or the Battle of Ivy Point Hill, was one of the largest of many skirmishes in Magoffin County during the American Civil War. In April of 1864, Confederate Colonel Ezekiel Clay led his regiment of mounted infantry on a raid to Kentucky, where he was opposed by the forces of the sub-district of Eastern Kentucky under Union Colonel George W. Gallup, consisting of the 14th Kentucky Infantry and 39th Kentucky Infantry, and reinforcements under Colonel C.J. True, consisting of the 40th Kentucky Infantry and the 11th Michigan Cavalry. On April the 13th, 1864, today's date, mind you, the Confederates attacked the Union position at Paintsville, but Colonel Gallup's 750 men held their position. And then on April the 14th, to tomorrow's date, combat was renewed, and the Confederates were driven to Sagersville with heavy losses. Colonel Clay was wounded and captured along with a significant part of his command, 100 horses and 200 stand of arms.
I think it's great to have, for the local community, and brings out a lot of the historical facts and gets everybody out to learn about their history. It's a beautiful setting just to get out on a nice warm day and enjoy, and let alone get to learn about, some of the stuff that's about our local history. And it's good for the kids.
What about you, young man? What was your favorite part?
I just came here I just thought it'd be a cool activity to do.
Is this your first one?
Yeah.
Would you be coming back, you think, if you had the opportunity?
Yeah.
And so will we. And we'll be coming back, not just going back to the next reenactment, but we'll be coming back with more from the Battle of Ivy Point and this latest reenactment. And I know there have been talks of spirits and other things around this portion of Magoffin County. There are 500 soldiers buried on the grounds, but I'm going to introduce to you Abraham Lincoln in the flesh and Mary Todd Lincoln on a later show. Still a lot of other headlines, including the information that I have to present to you tonight as it will pertain to happenings tomorrow. The appeal, which is a public hearing. We'll be bringing you a complete coverage of that on tomorrow night's program. I'll tell you how and give you some more details in just a few seconds, and some other headlines as well. I've got a whole lot happening on tonight's community calendar, which is where I'm going now. I don't have it all worked into the computer, but a few things I've got to mention because a few are very early this week. Just to let you know, a reminder, the Rail Trail crew meets each Monday, 5:30, as they did today, at the Ivington Baptist Church for a hike and bike event on the Dawkins Line Trail. You can enter to win a new bike. Drug-free activity is provided by the state. So they're going to give a bike away a week is what it sounds like. You can enter to win a new bike. We'll see. Contact the health department if you have any questions. I'll be contacting them, and we'll remind you about that every Monday, 5:30. And the Safe Coalition, by the way, in McGoffin County has its regular monthly meeting this Wednesday, 1 o'clock in the McGoffin County Health Department Community Room, which is also, dare I say, the deadline to have your taxes filed on the 15th this Wednesday. I received word from Marlene Howard, the director at the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center, that the Senior Center will be closed tomorrow for the trip to Camp Nathaniel. No Meals on Wheels tomorrow as they're taking their field trip. Back open and operating the following day. And this is one of our big stories I'm so looking forward to later on in the week. And I think it's going to be Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. The 3rd annual benefit sing for Great Strides for Cystic Fibrosis is coming up, hosted by Anointed Hearts at the New Life Worship Center. And that is this Saturday. This Wednesday, we'll be talking with Tracy Watson about the 2nd annual Great Strides Walk here in McGoffin County, as well as everything that she has endured and the amazing circumstances that she has found herself in due to the graciousness of a donor, and so much more. Head Start, CARA, preschool, pre-registration for the upcoming school year starts on the 20th, next Monday. They're taking applications at the Head Start office for children who will be 3 or 4 by August the 4th. August the 1st. Too many 4s. My apologies. And a reminder or announcement, there will be a reunion planning meeting for the 1972 graduating class at the McGoffin County High School on Monday. That is 1 week from today, 6 o'clock. Got a few days, I'll push that over and remind you about that. Also next week, the Mi Hacienda Restaurant is having a fundraiser for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation here in McGoffin County, an organization where you can go and eat, and the percentage will go to the Great Strides Walk for Cystic Fibrosis. That's not until the 22nd, so that too I can put on over, but a few others that we need to make mention of tonight. The first comes to you from the Rumpke organization. I always have a little more trouble on Mondays, don't I? They'll be running extra early this Wednesday the 15th, and also the transfer station is going to close at 2 o'clock that day due to a mandatory employee meeting, so keep that in mind. You want to get your garbage out extra early on Wednesday or late Tuesday night, whatever works for you. Oh, and a change to this one, the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church has their 4th annual bass fishing tournament still coming up this Saturday, but not as it still says on your screen at the Clay Lick Boat Ramp. So if you go there, you're going to miss it. Due to high water, they have changed to the Alvey Boat Ramp. Alvey Boat Ramp. That is still Saturday the 18th, I'll remind you. And one more reminder that kindergarten registration continues to the 17th through this Friday for South McGoffin Elementary and Sagersville Grade School here in McGoffin County for children 5 years of age on or before October the 1st. If you've got a calendar now, some birthday, anniversary, or the like, send it to us. Your News Today, P.O. Box 1443, phone, fax, email. It all works. Facebook it at Ritt Mortimer. And, of course, you can always catch the show on yournewstoday.com, as well as Howard's Cable Channel 7, Foothills Channel 40. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. Last week, a 3-judge panel has been selected to hear arguments and briefs on behalf of all 3 parties as it relates to the appeals which have been filed pertaining to the McGoffin County Judge Executive's race. Judge Executive Hardin filing an appeal, as has the McGoffin County Board of Elections, and challenger and candidate on the Republican ticket, John Montgomery, who also filed a cross appeal, still hoping to see, even though he saw the office vacated per the direction of Special Appointed Judge John David Preston, see that he be declared the winner of the November election. That appeals court panel will meet tomorrow at noon. The hearing tomorrow is one of two slated to be presented before a three-judge panel of the Kentucky Court of Appeals. It is the second and final one of the day. They usually slate a half-hour window. I'm told that given the circumstances of it being the last and only of two, one of only two that day, that it may run as long as an hour. It is a public hearing. It is open to the public as well as it's open to the media tomorrow. Reporters, photographers are allowed entry with some guidelines to follow, as is television media such as myself, with the stipulation only one is permitted entrance into the courtroom and the hearing room at the time, with the stipulation they must provide any and all video feed to any other entity which desires to have that same coverage for themselves. So I will be traveling to Frankfort in the morning. I will be in the Court of Appeals and in the hearing room, and tomorrow evening, given the time frame, we may have some or all of the hearing for tomorrow night's coverage. If it lasts more than a half hour, we'll probably present it at a later window. Possibly, I'm not quite for certain, but you can expect to see some footage that I can guarantee that you'll only see here with us on Your News Today. So as the hearing begins at noon, I'll be in a rush to get back and have a presentation for you by 6 o'clock for the first show tomorrow night. Remember, 6 o'clock on both Howard's Cable and Foothills Channel 40 at this time. And, of course, the replays later on in the evening. But we'll have coverage, and we'll find out with some finality we expect tomorrow as to the real situation with the McGoffin County Judge Executives race of November 2014. But for now, turning to other headlines, a woman in Morgan County has reported to authorities that this man, identified as Rodney Keaton, who was, just as of airtime, still lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, tried to trade her drugs for sexual favors. Following up on the complaint, police have arrested Keaton. He is charged with sexual abuse in the first degree, prostitution, as well as assault in the fourth degree. Prosecutors claim that the woman has told authorities that he shoved her against a vehicle and then made inappropriate gestures and touched her in an inappropriate manner as well, while at the same time making sexual advances towards her. He's 28 years old. The Ezel man has been lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center since yesterday. And Kentucky State Police in Elizabethtown, I'll reach the local connection in just a few moments, are searching for two individuals, and they're asking for the public's help in a variety of locations across Kentucky. Two escapees from the Dismas Charities in Louisville. A press release from the Kentucky State Police says that this man, Nicholas Salyer, and another individual walked away from the facility on the 9th day of April. That was Thursday of last week. Now, Nicholas Salyer is said to be from the Georgetown area. Meanwhile, we understand that Mr. Fields, Justin Fields, is from Johnson County and Paintsville. All they know at this time, and all they were able to forward to us in the press release, was that they were seen in an unknown vehicle. No description of the vehicle. Also, very little description of what they were wearing or direction of travel at this time as well. Anyone with any information, though, is asked to call the Kentucky State Police. You can call Post 9, and they obviously will be glad to forward that information to Post 4. Post 9 is more easily reached for viewers of, obviously, in my area in Pikeville. This mugshot is from the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, a prior arrest for Justin Fields. We'll wrap up tonight's program with your forecast, provided and powered by Licking Valley RECC. A flood watch in effect from 11 tonight till 2 in the p.m. tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon, in lieu of some rainfall. Tonight, 3/4 to an inch of rainfall, and then we'll see some more tomorrow. 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, and this first hit of precipitation is possible and likely on the upper end of that scale for a whole lot of us. With a low of 53 degrees tonight, we have a 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms in your Tuesday's forecast. And if I overlaid last week's forecast and this week's, a whole lot of, and I'm not excited about saying this, a whole lot of similarities, and that's not a good thing. Some days have about a 10 degree temperature swing, but other than that, a whole lot of similarities that I'm not. We'll see more clouds, we'll see more showers, and that's probably a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rainfall and those estimates, but we could see, and more than likely, I think the viewing area will pick up a solid 2 inches of rain, another 70% chance of showers on your Tuesday. We'll see some isolated showers continuing from, say, mid to late afternoon, possibly on throughout the evening. Mostly cloudy skies are not going anywhere. Wednesday's forecast, we see 66 for the daytime high, a chance of showers and thunderstorms after 2 p.m. mostly for midweek, and a low of 51 that night. More clouds. Chance of showers and storms increases as Wednesday goes on to about 60-70% by Wednesday night, and those showers and storms possibly will be sticking around into your Thursday as well. Clouds are going to as well. No sunshine on Thursday either, but 67-53 for your high and low. Still a real good shot of more showers and possibly some thunderstorms. And, of course, beginning tonight and into your tomorrow, our biggest threat for flash flooding, but we're going to have one hit after another after we've already seen just about all we can hold. It's just not going to end in the forecast either. Saturday, mostly cloudy, 71 degrees, and guess what? About a 40, maybe 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, more so early Saturday than late. I think our first hit of some sunshine might be on Sunday, after we still see the 70s hanging around for the first half of your weekend with that threat of showers and thunderstorms, which is also looming on your Sunday. I think we should see right around 69 degrees on your Sunday as well, but we still can't shake a threat of showers and thunderstorms. But partly sunny is better than not. 69-51 for your high and low, and believe me when I say I'm tired and done with it all. Not a drought in sight this year. That's a good thing, but we've had more than we need, and it's going to equate to, among other things, a whole lot of grass to mow. For now, that's my time. Thank you for being a part of it. Our maybe not sole, but major focus, of course, will be coverage of the election hearing before the Kentucky Court of Appeals on tomorrow. I'll see you when I get back from Frankfort. Until then, have a good evening. Keep your eye on the rain. Might be a factor with some flash flooding overnight and into your morning hours. For now, good night.